wonderful sweet babies. So today we're going to be doing the Baddies Caribbean review for episode 2. So there was a whole lot that happened this episode, so let's just get straight into it. So last week we pretty much left off where Bianca and Sapphire were going at it. So Bianca decided that she was going to snuck Sapphire simply because she was trying to defend her friend, which is Mariah Lynn, and she was doing it in honor of Mariah Lynn. So she ended up sneaking Sapphire, and when she snuck Sapphire, all she really did was just snatch Sapphire's wig. Because Sapphire actually turned around and bopped the chicken noodle soup out of Bianca. It was like the entire time that Bianca was doing this, she was extremely scared. So then pretty much Callie Way, who's also known as Blueface's sister, she actually, takes it upon herself to actually address Natalie. Now, Natalie had already been kind of feeling some type of way because I guess they had some issues back and forth on social media. So Natalie was already kind of guarded, and she was like, girl, don't walk up on me. Don't come up on me. Stay over there. So then Callie's pretty much going up to Natalie, and she was pretty much like, Natalie, I think you need to retire. I'm going to be the person that's going to take over because aren't you like 40? So then they started making jabs to each other. And Callie said, girl, you're old. You need to retire. I need to take over. Natalie then says, girl, your mama. And Callie pretty much says, girl, your N-word. So then in the process of this whole thing, Callie ends up bumping Mariah, and Mariah feels some type of way. So then she then bops Callie. And of course, Bianca came following because she'd seen that Mariah was doing something, so she followed suit. So the both of them are pretty much going at it to Callie. Then things get a little bit hectic because in the midst of these two going at it, Callie actually spits on Mariah. So what was funny about this situation was that Callie started with the wig, and then once her wig was snatched by Mariah, she ended up having some braids underneath, and it was like, yes, girl, get ready so you don't have to, or stay ready so you don't have to get ready, period. So then we pretty much go back to Callie and Natalie going back at it, and these two actually ended up fighting because Callie was mad and Natalie was mad, so she was like, you know what, let me take my shoes off, let's get it popping. Natalie ended up throwing a few things and stuff like that. But then Callie ends up going into a corner, and then Natalie ends up following her to that corner. I think this is where Natalie effed up because Natalie ended up getting actually dusted by Callie low-key because she was in that corner. So Callie kind of got the best of her because Natalie kept falling for some reason. So then after, that's when Natalie pretty much kind of gets herself out of this situation, and she's starting to try to leave and go into her truck. At that point, she was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to just let the girls handle her because I'm not finna touch this girl no more. And because everybody's like super devoted to Natalie this season, everybody was really willing to tussle with Callie, all for Natalie. So at this given moment, you pretty much had Mariah going after her because she was mad because she got spat on by her. Then Jayla was somewhere in the cut too because she was like, girl, you're not finna disrespect Natalie. Be here on a free trip. And then also, be talking crap to the EP. So Jayla was also tussling with Callie. And then Callie started to a little bit get on my nerves because she started going crazy towards Meatball after she had ran into the bathroom after being scared. And she started coming at Meatball saying, girl, we went in here together. You should have had my back. And you didn't, so you're scary because you should have been, defending me and helping me. That's when Meatball was like, girl, you kind of have me effed up because who are you talking to? So then that's when Meatball was ready to tussle with Callie too. So at this point, it was pretty much everybody against Callie Way. So after this situation pretty much happened, Sapphire pretty much lets Bianca know, like, girl, we've got to go back at it. I'm ready to tussle with you again. Bianca's pretty much doing the same crap again, acting scary, and she actually starts throwing things and took off both of her shoes, threw them, and just was doing the most. That's when pretty much Bianca takes another page into Callie Way's book, and she spits on Sapphire. I'm not sure what Sapphire was on. I guess her adrenaline was pumping, but everything that was getting tossed to her, she was pretty much like, girl, that's fine. I don't care. Keep going. And she pretty much just ate everything that Bianca threw her way. And when Mariah pretty much seen this situation happen and she seen that Bianca actually took it upon herself to spit on Sapphire, she actually said in her confessional that, she was going to address Bianca for doing something like that because she feels like, that was disgusting to do, especially after the same thing had happened to her from Callie. But she was saying she wasn't going to try to embarrass her in front of everybody and have this conversation. She was going to have it separately with her and Bianca alone. So pretty much Sapphire and Bianca had finally was able to tussle. And in the mix of all of this, Sapphire ends up dislocating her shoulder. But she still was giving Bianca, a piece of her mind. And Bianca was still just being scary. So I feel like this entire situation, Sapphire was eating the entire time, even though she was the one that got snuck. So pretty much after all of this situation happens, the girls pretty much all just have their chances to talk. And at one point, Taseki and Biggie actually talk as well. Taseki pretty much tells Biggie, girl, you have to stick up for yourself. And she also tells her that she needs to give Jayla back her chain. In the mix of this little conversation that these two had, Bianca and Mariah comes up. And Mariah agrees that Biggie needs to give up the chain. But Biggie had already given, Taseki the chain. This is just something that I kind of noticed after watching. It kind of seems to me like Taseki's not really feeling Bianca too much. But, she's just kind of playing nice because she doesn't want to just jump to conclusions and just be a mean girl. But I could kind of sense that, Taseki's not really feeling her. So the girls are pretty much flying to Barbados. And while they're flying to Barbados, Natalie says that there's going to be a secret, like a special guests or whatever that are going to come on the plane with them to go to Barbados. They end up meeting with the Claremont twins, and the Claremont twins are going to hang out with them, on the PJ and into the mansion. Not going to lie, the mansion was extremely pretty, and it looked really, really nice. The PJ girlies got there before the other girlies, so they were able to pick out their rooms, and then that's when drama starts again. So Jayla gets her chain back, and then Biggie starts complaining that the girls before got a chance to pick rooms while, they didn't. Natalie explains to her, well, we got here first, that's why we chose our rooms already. So then Jayla and Biggie get back into it, and they pretty much have their little spat. And then Biggie starts crying because she feels like she was set up, and she feels like Jayla pretty much was being messy, and so was Natalie. At this point, she just takes off and starts screaming, hollering, crying. People try to console her, but then she starts being mean to them. So then in the process of this, we get introduced again to Bianca and Meatball, and they come into the house, and they're the third set of girls that come into the house. At this moment, Sapphire was like, okay, girl, you know what? I want my ones with you again. So she was trying to pretty much find a way for her and Bianca to fight again. When they do get their chance to fight again, Bianca's acting scary once again, and then talking about how she got her titties done. She then also says, girl, you got a sling on your shoulder. So just pretty much making up all these different excuses as to why they can't squabble again. Meanwhile, Biggie is in the back again with a busted lip from Jayla, complaining about how now Natalie wants to do baddie shot o'clock after everybody's getting punched. So here's my thoughts. Bianca truly is scary, and she honestly is just showing that she's an opportunist. I feel like the well was dry for her, and when I noticed her looking at the chains, the Baddies chains, it's giving, I can't wait until I'm in the spot to get a Baddies chain as well. Callie's also giving an opportunist type vibe as well. And she's honestly kind of being annoying because she's trying to start problems with everybody so then everybody can pretty much make her the fan favorite. But she's not going to be the fan favorite arguing with Natalie. She won't even get her own show arguing with Natalie. She's just being looked at as very annoying, just like her mother and her brother. I'm not going to lie, at first I felt for Biggie because I felt like Jayla was just doing too much because she was just trying to find a reason to fight Biggie again. Especially because she knows Biggie's not a fighter and that Biggie is not going to fight back. But then after a while, Biggie started to get annoying because people tried to help her and she was just kind of being rude. It's just kind of like Biggie. If you don't want to have issues with people, then don't say anything about people. And if you see them speaking on your name, speak on their name back, but then also defend yourself. Don't just be acting scary in a corner. Because crying in front of a girl that just bopped you in the lip is crazy. When it comes to Bianca in Sapphire's last fight, honestly, it just made me feel like, Natalie, can you please tell Bianca to go home? Because at this point, she's kind of annoying and she's getting on everyone's nerves, especially mine. And I kind of feel like she's just doing anything and everything for a moment. All in all, the only thing that was beautiful about this episode was the house. I just honestly feel like, Bianca and Biggie need to go home because at this point, a lot of issues and a lot of just nagging is coming from them. But that's my opinion. What's yours?